the select board meeting for March 8th, contrary to other opinions, at 6:35 now. Could all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. That's what it is. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could all please remain standing for a moment of silence for all the men and women, past and present, who help protect us and our great country. And let's not forget the healthcare workers who are still working very hard on our behalf. Thank you very much. Please be seated if you choose. Let's see. The warrant for tonight. Need a motion.
Make a motion that we authorize Mr. McGinnis to use our stamp to sign the warrant, any warrants available for tonight's signature.
And we have to approve it too.
And approve it, yes.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call. Stan?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Sean again?
Yes.
And me, yes. Okay. There are no appointments for tonight. So the first order of business is with the town clerk. Update on animal licenses. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Hi, Sarah.
Good. Nice to see you all. So I had provided some information after Sean McGinnis and I have been doing some research on a new licensing program. We've been contracting with this LL Data for a number of years to do the animal licensing right in our office. But we're looking to contract it out with a program called Pet Data out of Texas. And they would be able to do everything for us, including sending out invoices and problem solving, sending out the tags, and uploading any information. Licensing the dogs, it's not a difficult task, but it is very data entry heavy with the program we have. So we looked at a number of other programs, but they just weren't able to meet all of our needs. And it appears that this program would be helpful. The clerk in North Andover uses this program, and she's been very happy with it. And she had inherited it. It was started by the town manager there, and she came in, and she's been happy with it. So we're looking at switching over next year. We're already entering them for this year, but the cost is $4.20 per license. And they only charge you, there's no minimum, it's only when they complete an actual license that we're charged. So as we went through the budget cycle, we moved around some of our funds so that we could help absorb part of the cost. And then I'm before you tonight because I'd like to look to the select board and town meeting to increase the fee from $12 for a spay or neuter dog to $15 per license. I think that the residents will get really good service from this program, and it would allow myself and my staff to focus more on doing all of the input of the census in-house. We prior to me coming here, they had hired 2 people to do it, but it does take more training, and it is a more nuanced task than the input for the pet licensing. So we would keep all of that in-house, but it would free us up to get that done in a more timely manner, and it would be a bit more cost-effective.
I think the people should understand also that this company does everything, including mailing out the tag.
Yes, yes.
How much is it for a dog license?
Right now, if your dog is spay or neutered, it's $12. And if the dog is intact, it's $20. And that's been since 2013. We probably should look at increasing as everything, postage has increased in that time. The cost of paper has increased. The cost of the actual tag that we provide has increased, not just the cost of, the actual labor, but actually putting out the tag has increased in that time.
Are you just looking to raise the fee just from the spade from 12 to 15? How about from the regular dog?
So if the dog was intact, it seemed, as I looked at other towns, the 20 seemed more in line, whereas our spay and neutered dogs was a little bit lower. There is a wide range, and the 15 would be right in the middle. And we license far fewer intact animals. Most have been spay or neutered.
David?
Sarah, couple of questions. The Andover, the amount they process in a year, how does that compare to what we do?
I
Any
don't
idea?
know that information, but I certainly could find that out. We're doing between 3,500 and 4,500 dogs a year. And I'm not sure. I know that they've been happy with the customer service that they have been provided. We would have a dedicated number with Pet Data, so they would know when the person called in that number that they were calling from our community, so that they would know exactly what our rules and regulations are for our community. So I thought that would be helpful. Another piece of this that I think is really fantastic is that our animal control could access all of this program anytime on the road. Right now, they have some difficulty when they're outside the office to have access to all the features of the database. This would allow them to do that. So they would be able to help animals get home, or if they were injured and all of that. It would give them a search feature so that they could look at animals in a geographic area that are registered. So a golden retriever in the area of Dartmouth Street, they could search all of that to help animals get home. So those were also some selling features, because I had talked with Sandy Goslin, our animal control officer, to see what features and benefits they would be looking for. And so this would be an area that they feel as though that would be really helpful to kind of help them manage some of what they do in the community.
Well, in the interest of, you're not in a rush to do it, I think it's just to be sure that they're processing as many as we are, so that's a similar situation, I think, or maybe worth a couple other towns just to be sure. Will the process change for the resident in terms of, is it a lot different than what they're doing now to be part of this new program?
So it wouldn't be, I think it would have a value added. They would be able to do their entire processing online. We don't have the ability right now to pay for the dog or register your dog online. We can do it by mail, or you can call, or you can come in. So this would be added, and that's certainly something people ask for. As a resident with 2 dogs myself, I want to pay everything online. But if people still wanted to come in, we have that ability, and we could either enter that data, or we can provide it to Pet Data. And again, as part of that service and that fee we're paying, they would enter all of that information, and they would send out the tag to the resident. So
If the information was incorrect, they would contact our residents directly?
They would. So a big concern that I have learned here in my office, as well as with animal control, is it's incredibly important that all the information on the rabies certificate is correct, and they will have an actual person look at every single one prior to that license being issued. So it's not just that you would upload your information and they'll give you the license. We wanted to make sure somebody was actually going to lay eyes on each of those, and that's part of their service.
So this is a perfect case of taking antiquated system we had and turning it into something not only more efficient, but also friendly to our residents as well.
I'm certainly hoping so. And
I just think a little homework with a couple other towns might be worth it, just in case there are any surprises. That'd be my suggestion.
I think Andover, their population is not as large as Dartmouth, so I would imagine they're probably less animal licenses than we are, but we can certainly check that out.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. Great job.
Stanley.
Just sounds like a great deal, almost too good to be true, to be honest with you.
It's really just was working out the fee piece because,
Yeah.
I certainly am not looking to increase fees, but I don't think it's unreasonable
I
as
don't-
we've
I
had
don't
one
think
for
so either.
8 years. So, but again, I think that there is some value added for us to increase that. We'll get more value and some other services that we're not able to provide currently.
Yeah, it's great, great idea.
John, did you have your hand up?
Sarah answered all my questions. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Do we have to vote on approval for this?
Yeah, so what happens, if you vote to approve it, then it'll be a town meeting warrant article, because town meeting has to vote for a fee increase for animal licenses.
Make that motion. Did we increase
Also-
the spay and neutered fee from $12 to $15?
Will that also include for town meeting the new system, or does not have to be voted by the town?
That does not have to be voted.
So it's just the fee. Okay, thank you.
Is there a second?
Second, I second that.
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote, Stanley,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
David,
Yes,
Sean,
Yes.
McDonald. Yeah, you're the one who can vote, yeah.
Got my vote?
So do we have to vote on the actual contract?
No.
Not yet?
No.
No, okay, great.
Okay, so you have our support, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. It's always good to see you.
Nice to see you also.
Okay. Item B, Veterans Advisory Board appointment for Jason Ray. Is he here or?
Is he on the phone? Someone's on the phone. Nope.
Okay. It's good to see Matt anyway. Hi, Matt.
Good evening. I see that there is one caller on there that doesn't have a name. I'm not sure if they have to do with the Veterans Office or not. So,
Okay,
All right. Well,
So
I
can we,
think you have a letter of interest in the packet for Mr. Ray. For
can
you
we
to
vote on this gentleman tonight?
well, that was the plan.
I just was notified by Mr. Pereira that he is on the line.
Oh, great.
All right, so that is Mr. Ray on the telephone, correct?
That was Mr. Pereira.
Ah,
Oh. Okay. Mr. Ray, are you out there?
guess not.
Okay, more fake news. Okay, we can still vote on it, but we have this.
Yeah, there's still a position available, so I'll make a motion that we appoint Jason Ray to the Veterans Advisory Board.
I'll be happy to second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments or other? Okay, roll call. Stanley,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
David,
yes.
Sean,
Yes,
and me, yes. So he has to go get sworn in, right?
yes.
Correct.
So, Mr. Ray, if you're out there listening, you have to get sworn in at your earliest convenience.
We will send him an appointment letter
Okay, great.
with instructions. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Matt.
item C, Memorial 2021 Memorial Day Parade.
Not done.
I'll be sending them away yet.
Sorry.
Get stuff to talk about. Come on, come on.
Okay, now you want to talk about the plans for this year?
Certainly. Chris, are you able to? put
I am
anything
here.
on it? Okay, excellent. Go right ahead then, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for inviting us and having us. And it's duly noted that I heard Mr. Sean McDonald's disapproving grunt when he was notified that I was on the phone. If that's all right, I'll let it slide.
Grunt.
Was it a grunt?
Wasn't a grunt.
So we're really excited about the preparations that are underway right now. We are planning for the parade, and we will kind of continue to do so and operate normally unless the select board decides that we we can't, have a parade this year. If that were to occur, we are having kind of a secondary plan and a backup plan similar to last year, where we'll have a ceremony at the Elm Street Cemetery by the main flagpole and memorial, very similar to last year. That was, well received. But having said that, we are, kind of planning for all systems go for this year. And Matt, was there anything you wanted to add?
I guess I'll flat out ask if are we at a point where we can go in a direction as it pertains to the parade, or should we go with both plans?
I would think that
I just
would have
figured
to
I had
be-
the audience, so
Yeah, I would think that would have to be a decision with the COVID response team, with
Okay.
Chris Michaud and everybody else. I'm sure Sean will bring this to their attention just to see what's
Thank you.
going on, but it has to also
Thank you.
coincide with the Commonwealth's orders.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you.
And we're pretty kind of prepared and flexible, where we can basically turn on a dime if we need to,
Right.
and go the ceremony route. So, we don't have to have any type of decision right
Notice.
now.
Correct.
If we get like a week or two, so there's some time to kind of talk about it and plan it, but just so you folks know, and then the community that we're kind of operating on an all systems go at this point, unless we're told otherwise.
Stanley?
Yes. Hey, Chris, Matt.
How you
I'm
doing, sir?
all excited about, no question about having the parade, but there could be some limitations. But I think we should just proceed with both ideas,
Yes, sir.
There's really not much to change whether we have a parade or we do it as we did last year.
Correct.
And let's just, if we prepared to do it either way, we can do it real quick. And I'm
Yes,
sure
sir. Correct.
the residents would love to see a parade after this past year.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to deal with the governor and that edict and whatever else.
Thank you.
David?
I have a GPS geography question. The second sentence says units will proceed on Bridge Street and take a right on Bridge Street.
Should
Is
be
that correct?
Should be a left.
Yeah, it should be a left. Correct.
We're going to go to the yacht club.
We'll put that to.
You wanted
Yeah.
to send certain people to the right and certain to the left. Okay.
Good.
I feel better already.
I think everybody knows the routine.
Good catch.
I think the biggest logistic of the whole thing is getting the participants in the parade, which would be the marching band and the marching band units and whatnot. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, because really, people go to the parades to see the parade. They don't go to see us, or they go see the veterans who do walk the parade. They go see the marching band. They go see the kids.
Right.
So that's the key, and the ceremonies. So I think at least getting the ceremonies down is tantamount. I think is a good thing.
Right.
The parade route, the participants, that you got to need at least a few weeks notice on that. At least I think especially from the high school and the middle school bands. So
Actually, I've already been in communication with Mr. Flint and the elementary school band and the middle school band. I guess they're not doing anything this year, so we'll only have the high school band. Yeah. So
okay.
Hey, do we have to vote to show support on this, or is it just a go?
You don't have to vote. No, it's
Wouldn't
just,
think
One of the things though I would like to see though is I know Matt, if you can get in touch with I forgot his name, Tim Lancaster, and to get the memorial flags up along Elm Street.
yes, sir. We had it.
At least 30 days ahead of Memorial Day, and then keep them up 30 days afterwards. So
Yes, sir. Understood.
no, please don't call me sir. I'm not in the military. I understand it's training and whatnot, but you make
Yeah.
me sound old, Matt.
Any other comments or questions? If not, Chris and Matt, thank you very much. And good
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you, fellas.
Thanks,
Great.
guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Yeah, Chris.
Take care.
Okay, item D, temporary outdoor dining licensing.
Yes, so in order to avoid any confusion, I think there's a little bit of confusion out there. It's statewide. I think last year the governor implemented the temporary outdoor seating order. There was some confusion that it expired at the end of November. The actual wording of the order said it expires 60 days after the state of emergency ends, which means it continues for this year because the state of emergency is still in place. So what we've done is we've set up our online licensing and permitting system to allow for applying and renewing of temporary outdoor seating licenses online. But I just want to get the board's approval if they wanted to maintain the $20 fee again this year for that. And also to select a member to be the licensing authority for the board. It was Mr. Gracie last year, and if you want to continue to do that. This is for temporary outdoor seating. If there's any establishments that want permanent outdoor seating, they need to contact the building department to go through the formal process because that will be permanent. These temporary outdoor licenses, as I mentioned in my letter, is as soon as the governor's order ends, unless he issues another order, they would expire 60 days after that order ends, whenever that is. So, but I anticipate it's going to go through this summer and into the fall again this year.
I would imagine, yeah. I'm sure they're prepared for it.
The fee was 25, by the way, not 20.
Oh, did I say 20? I'm sorry, 25.
And I can understand the confusion because in September, I saw the governor give a press conference and he said he was extending the deadline for outdoor dining until the end of the year, which was 2020, from November 1st. So a lot of people are probably going by that. Clearly, the document you showed indicates otherwise, although I do believe that the 60-day extension completion was to protect people from spending money and time and then having it pulled off in front of them. So assuming the pandemic ended early, they would still have 60 days to finish the project and use it. So if I don't see anything wrong with this unless we're somehow concerned that, especially with alcohol involved, that somebody's going to get in trouble, either us or them, because it actually isn't approved. Can we get clarification from the governor's office on whether it's still really is still in effect or not? So before we head down the path.
The temporary outdoor seating, it is according to this. I think the confusion is they thought it expired. I think they just ended it for the winter.
Because he said it did. He said it expired at the end of the year. I saw the press conference. So I think that's why the people are confused. You got two different pieces of information. The last piece of information would have been his press conference.
Well, his last order was in September, and that was number 50, which states it was 60 days after the end of the state of emergency. But
Let me ask this question. Why can't we do temporary outdoor seating as a municipality?
It's because of the alcohol.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but that's the combinations. There are some people that don't have alcohol license.
Right.
So I think it's a two-pronged issue. Easy to do the outdoor seating without alcohol. That's a simple.
Because I mean, IHOP did it. They don't serve alcohol.
No. I'm just saying that I think they're two distinctly different entities.
I mean, I think we should send a letter to all the people that did it last year and tell them, that, we're going ahead and doing it again, and here's the way you can go online. But I should also kind of lead into it that if you want a permanent outdoor seating, to please contact the building department and get that going as quick as possible, because I know I can see at least 3 entities in town going permanent outdoor seating. That being, Joe's, Faye's, and Cask and Pig.
Yeah, for sure.
They have the areas to do so.
Yeah.
Cask and Pig has got it.
Right.
And they should go for the permanent outdoor seating, which it's an attractive thing to do. Faye's is looking to do, more than what they did last year and to get permanent outdoor seating. you know, and I think that'd be good for them too. You know, same thing with Joe's. And I don't know who else is
Yeah.
can do permanent, but I'm sure they have to work on it. But still, I think we should do that. We should at least notify the people that had it last year to, you know, we're doing it again this year. And here's the link where you need to contact it. And that if you're anticipating, you know, more of a permanent, you know, you need to do this. And let's get them started and let's get them going as soon as possible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Percy's called me over a month ago. They were very interested. They said they already had customers that were asking them when they're going to be open. This was a month ago. So I pointed him in the right direction. And he's
And it's going to get more this week with the temperatures supposedly supposed to be going up.
Tomorrow and Thursday. Yeah.
so
I know I had a conversation with Joe's. They called me and wanted to know what, you know, they're anxious.
March is a lot different than 60 degrees in December.
Yes, without a doubt, but they're anxious to get going too.
Yeah.
Well, the permanent license is beneficial for them because then they don't have to wait for somebody to tell them it's okay.
Right.
They can just do it based on the weather. You know, they can open when they want to and they can close when they want to. David?
I'm concerned about notifying all these restaurants. Are we able to notify the people who have a common vic via email?
Yes. Yeah, with our new licensing and permitting system, yes.
It makes sense to notify them that about the not only both instances where they can renew or get a new one, and then maybe even consider it permanent. That way, everybody's notified, so we can get the word out, and the sooner the better.
Yeah,
That's the best way to notify people.
We can notify the establishments from last year. There were only 6 or 8.
No, I mean all of them.
But we can send a mass email out to all the common vics that, you know, want a temporary outdoor seating. Yes.
Right.
That's no problem.
Well, it could also include that they have interest in permanent. They could also give them the whole message. Why not give everybody the benefit of getting started as soon as they want to?
Yep, we can do that. Certainly.
Great.
How does the group feel about fees? One thing I had thought about is that those that paid last year could possibly not pay again. And only people that didn't participate last year paid the $25, so they're all on even ground.
I mean,
Do we have to charge a fee? Period? Or should we talk about a population that needs a break and it's only 25, but I think
yeah, I mean,
it's a
let's put
good.
them 6 or 8. So you're talking at most what? $200?
Yeah.
I would say that I would not collect any,
Waive it this year.
waive all the fees and give them a break and just get it.
Waive the temporary outdoor seating fee.
Right.
That's the one you want to waive. You don't want to waive all fees, David.
Right. Just the temporary.
No, I meant the temporary. Thank you.
We don't control the alcohol.
Right.
So we should vote on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to waive the temporary outdoor seating fees for $25.
Second.
Okay, do you want to include sending out the notification?
Yeah, I've said it. I know Sean will do it.
Can we
Okay.
can include that information as well on this notice about
No fees, about the no fees day?
not only just the fees, but also the temporary or the permanent all in one email to everybody.
Yeah, well,
And
Sean's
we're
gonna
not
do
in a position to decide whether,
I'll send that out.
right, but include all three. We shouldn't differentiate. Who
No, he
knows
just said he's going to send them
Hey,
all.
we're going to send it out, David.
Right, along with the fees. Okay,
We'll draft your vote and kind of all this information into one email and send it out.
okay.
Great.
I mumbled my way through that one. I get it. Thank you.
Any more questions before we vote?
Yeah.
John?
Frank, I was wondering if we could have the building inspector explain to us the differences between a temporary and a permanent, so they know what to expect should they want to go from temporary to permanent.
I can answer some of that. So if it's temporary, is generally has been in areas where there's parking or where there's a sidewalk or where it's generally not an open space. Permanent is somewhere where they've got a dedicated space on the property that meets the setback requirements required to have an outdoor seating and the safety requirements. So Percy's is a good example. They have a spot that's outside of the parking area that can be permanent. You know, someplace like Joe's would have to work harder because their space last year was in a parking lot, and that wouldn't be allowed. So that's temporarily allowed under the governor's order, but it would not be allowed permanently.
Will we be able to offer any variances for them to have permanent outside seating?
They can certainly apply at the zoning board of appeals to request a variance. If it's in parking and there's a number of parking spaces that are required for seating, there's a number of factors involved. So people who are looking to do things permanently, long-term, should start with the building department and contact the building department with their plans and have a discussion. And he's been really good. He's happy to point them in the right direction about whether it's allowed, or if it's not allowed, what they can do, to have it be allowed, whether it's making major modifications or whether it's applying to the zoning board of appeals for a variance. So he'll let them know.
I think it's clear that the state and we as a town left a lot of leeway to get people open, to get some business in, whereas a permanent one, major safety precautions and practicality is more concerning.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that most of the time, if you're going to do permanent seating, that the wall structures walling off the seating area is more secure than just temporary barriers or, something like that. So like an actual wall.
Yeah, I think safety is the big difference, and that they clearly have to get a permanent license.
Well, and also
That's why the building inspector gets involved instead of the safety officer.
Right.
and that's why even the number of parking spaces, I'm sure they've lost a bunch, and now can you do that on a permanent basis and still be
Well,
safe?
actually, Joe's gained a whole lot when they knocked down the old.
Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of space. Plenty of space.
Okay, we have
All right, good.
a second. So let's vote. Stanley,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and myself, yes.
Which Sean was that?
Kip.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
Still the one that can vote.
Well, we can do the same thing we do in my household. My son-in-law is Sean, so we call him Hank. So
Hank?
we'll call Sean. Start calling Sean Henry. Because I don't want to get confused with the other Sean. So we'll start calling him Henry.
Thanksgiving.
Well, he's the non-voting Sean.
You got that, Henry?
You should call me Scott. Generally, people, when they call me the wrong name, it's Scott.
Oh,
Right, okay, good.
your middle name can be Henry. Henry.
Thanksgivings were always confusing at my house because of all the Franks. Either everybody would answer or nobody would answer. If somebody said Frank, it was everybody or nobody.
Well, it's like the old joke in the Portuguese household. Maria, it's like 8 of them answer. Jose, and it's like 8 of them that answer. So
Even some of the guys.
yeah.
All right, now the only thing left, I think, is the approval.
Nope, the item E. Oh, no, I'm C. The town ballot voter notification letter.
Oh, I'm still talking about the dining.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anybody have any thoughts on that? Somebody still needs to sign off on all this.
Oh, I'll do it. If you don't want to do it, Frank, I'll do it.
Frank, you did a great job last time.
I know he did, but if he's tired, I'll do it.
Well, I took some crap from some parts of this board that didn't think I did a very good job, so I'm perfectly willing to give it to somebody else if they think it's easy.
Then I'll recommend Frank.
Frank, you can't do it as chairman. I don't think it's a good idea.
Oh,
Probably
yeah,
not. I'm sure it's not illegal, but probably not a good idea.
John, you want to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Do we need to vote on John?
No. John just said yes.
Good
Well,
enough.
no, you should vote because he will be the
All right.
licensing
All right, I'll make a
representative. for the
motion that the board authorize John Harron to be the
Approval
person to sign off on the temporary seating for the board.
authority is the official name.
Are you going to allow seating on Wood 6 and Dartmouth Street, John?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you got my vote.
Median strip.
Median strip, correct.
All the way down, all the way to Wareham. I'm Westmore.
Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote. Mr. Mickelson,
Yes.
Mr. McDonald,
Yes.
Mr. Tattelbaum,
Yes.
Mr. Herron,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Good luck.
Wait, you just said that. Good luck.
Wait, John, let me see all the gray hair you got.
It's falling out.
Yeah.
It should be a lot easier this year, Frank. You kind of had a.
And set the tone.
lay the course, and now it's just renewals, and it should be all set. So
All right.
One would think, but okay.
It's tough being a trailblazer.
It turned out better than I thought because of I'll tell you, the hardest part was trying to get the 4 people that needed to make the approvals. The fire, the safety officer, Board of Health, and who did I forget?
Well, it's all the more reason to get it going early because we try to get it done fast.
You know what? It'll all fall in place this year. It's going to be a lot much easier.
that's the new online system. The workflow is in there, so everyone can see where things are at without having to call around. So it'll be much easier.
Moving on. Item E, town ballot voter notification letter.
Okay, so at the previous town meeting voted to make the town clerk position appointed rather than elected. The second part of that approval process is a ballot question, which will be on the ballot in April. We are required by state law for charter changes to that are going to be on the ballot to notify, send a letter to every registered voter home, not each registered voter, but every registered voter residence, 2 weeks prior, at least 2 weeks prior to the election. And this is the letter that we've drafted for your approval as it comes from the board. Basically just giving a summary of what the purpose of the ballot question is, and then the charter amendment changes.
I think you hit it all right on the nose.
Tattlebaum, please. Mr. Tattlebaum.
What about this? There are some people who think that the town clerk, the position should be elected because of its affiliations with elections. We're not offering any kind of opinion here. This is simply the.
No, it's just a notification of the question. If they want it elected, they can vote no.
Yeah, I mean, it points out that it was approved by town meeting, and that's the next step is to go to the electorate.
I think you hit it right on the nose.
So there's no more that we can say because we're in favor of this. It has to be somewhat general.
It has to be just regarding the question, no opinions elsewhere. That's in something entirely different. I do have one thing though. I would like to see in the first paragraph where it says, please note that the ballot will be two-sided and that the ballot question will only contain a summary of the entire charter amendment. I'd like to see that highlighted, but I would also like to see a phrase saying that the actual question is on the reverse, will be on the back side of the ballot.
Okay.
That's where it will be, right?
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, it needs to point out to the people that where the ballot is going to be, where the actual question will be.
On the ballot, yeah, right.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I notice, has the ballot been created yet?
I think Sarah's working on it currently. So
Okay, because I'm wondering maybe if a picture on the second page showing where the question would be on the actual ballot would be something that,
the ballot gets posted early and posted online. So,
Okay.
oh, I just got a text from Sarah. The question is on the front of the ballot. So,
Good.
Oh, you can
Okay.
There you
That's
go.
even better. All right, just make sure. Okay, as long, I think it should be noted. I mean, especially if it was going to be on the back side of the ballot, then I would have. Okay, good, and my concern's taken care of.
That's great.
Okay.
Do we have to vote on this? Obviously.
That's
Yes.
up, but I assume everything else is also on the front.
Yeah, everything else is in the front. So
it's a two-sided ballot.
So what's on the back?
I'm not sure how it's drafted.
nothing now. If the question's going to be in the front, there's nothing on the back.
Right.
I mean, especially if it was going to be in the back. Right, Sarah.
Oh, look at that.
Sarah,
I
welcome
happen to
back.
still be here.
Do we have to vote on this? Obviously.
That's up, but I assume everything else is also on the front.
There's a little bit of a delay with Sarah. So.
Oh, you have you have to turn off your meeting that you're watching, Sarah.
I'm sorry.
Now, if the question's going to be in the front, there's nothing on the back.
You're getting feedback.
Like hundreds of people around town are doing right now.
Okay.
There you go.
Sarah, can you simplify this?
I can. Sorry, I'm trying to pull you. There we are. So LHS, they print all of our ballots. So I've been in contact with them. And the way that they do it is all the major offices are on the front and they're listed in a specific order. They then put the question, and when you flip the ballot, you will be voting for your town meeting members.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only question there on the back, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's on the front, and it's the only question on the ballot. Yes.
Yeah.
They have not been printed, but they have been sent, and they've been created. And so we're just waiting on the approval because we're looking to get them as soon as possible because we want to make sure we are able to get this out to absentee voters and then get it returned in time to count it.
What is the deadline, Sarah, for having the ballot ready? Because I've actually been asked that question already.
There's not a deadline, but we're hoping to have it probably within the next week. So today I was in contact again because they had a couple of questions for us, but Sean had provided us a copy of the question that I do believe was Brian Cruz also advised on it. So that's how it's just a bit of an update. And if anybody wanted to see what exactly the ballot looks like, I'm happy to forward a proof to you so you could look at it. But it's very clear on the bottom of that front side. So it will be just a yes or no that they will fill in the circle for. And then it'll clearly tell them to turn over so they can vote for their town meeting members in their precinct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me jump back in.
Thanks,
Sure.
Sarah.
You need a life so you don't have to hang around listening to the select board meeting all the time.
So I'm actually killing time because my daughter is in indoor band, and so it doesn't make sense. I have to go pick her up, and yeah, so I got to go do my Uber responsibilities. So I have plenty to do here in the meantime.
Glad you were still here.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Any more conversation before we call for a vote? No changes? Okay. Need a motion?
So moved.
Yes.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Mr. Mickelson,
Yes.
Mr. McDonald,
Yes.
Mr. Herron,
Yes.
Mr. Tattelbaum,
Yes,
and myself, yes. So everybody check your mailbox. There's a letter coming. Okay. We still have some of these common vic licenses. I thought we were done with them last week. but-
These were, as you may recall, the week prior to the last meeting, we had that snowstorm. And these were the three that weren't able to make it in due to the storm. So we allowed them. They did come in by Friday of that week and finish paying, but we could not get them on the agenda because that had been posted.
Okay. I'm glad to see them come forward.
So they did abide by the board's wishes, but they just, because of the storm, they were unable to get on the agenda.
Okay, so the three common vic licenses we have left to approve is Smith Mills Church, Brick Pizza, and Dockside.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a motion, a second, thank you. Mr. Mickelson,
Yes.
Mr. McDonald,
Yes.
Mr. Tattelbaum,
yes.
Mr. Herron,
Yes.
and myself, yes. So I tell you that we're done with them, but God knows.
Never know.
Okay, section 3, old business, Mr. McGinnis.
So Bliss Corner, no new updates. COVID-19 update. We had the town's last vaccination clinic last week, but the vaccination clinic at Circuit City is doing well and processing, a number of vaccinations daily. There's the bottleneck is still the state's registration system. And then with this week on March 8th, starting, teachers can now get vaccinated, which is great, but I think it's going to make the online registration system even more difficult and cumbersome. So, but we just, I'm sure just like the governor, if the people can be patient and keep trying to register, I think they'll eventually be able to get a vaccination.
Yeah, I can tell you, having gone through this process, it's painful. And the problem is not really the registration system. The problem is that there isn't enough vaccine.
Right.
So it limits the choices. As soon as somebody starts filling up slots, those slots disappear immediately. And that's the problem. If you had an infinite amount of vaccine, the registration system would work perfectly. David?
I was quite fortunate to attend the vaccinations at the high school for the second timers, and I just be remiss if I didn't comment on the quality of the work. The team led by Mr. Michaud and Mr. Vieira, and led by a COVID team with Sean. Incredible teamwork, smooth. They did, I think, close to 1,000 vaccines that day, and just a constant flow, no buildup. It was really impressive. I know Mr. Michaud would love to get more vaccines back in, but there's not enough inventory, so I think the state's doing what it has to, unfortunately, because it's a great opportunity lost, because what a professional job they all did, and the townspeople, the town hall employees, volunteers. It was amazing to see. Police, fire, everywhere. What a job, and it's a real credit to our town. It was really something.
I think the state did it backwards. They should have allowed healthcare providers and the town to do it locally. Because we
Well, I don't think most towns did the job we did, frankly, because our town was so well organized. That's why they pulled the plug. We did as well as any professional. I went to Gillette for our shots, and we have no candle to hold back in terms of how we ran our operation. But I think the state was frightened to have the consistency that we had in our town. So unfortunately, we couldn't renew, but what a job they did, and real professional.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. Minutes, February 8th and February 22nd.
I read them through. I didn't see any errors unless I missed, but I'll make a motion to approve both
I'll
the
second.
February 8th and the February 22nd minutes.
Yeah,
Second that.
they look fine to me too. So roll call, Stanley,
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
John,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Information? Mr. McGinnis, any information?
There's no information. There's just a letter of Chapter 90 funding approval from the state, which is pretty standard every year. It's what we generally get. And then we've got a letter in the packet from the Lieutenant Governor congratulating us on our grant award for best practices. One is, as you know, to complete our open space and recreation plan, and the other is to assist with staffing for our digital document scanning project.
Okay, good.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn in a second. Mr. Mickelson,
Yes.
Mr. McDonald,
Yes.
Mr. Herron,
Yes.
Mr. Tattelbaum,
Yes.
and myself, yes. We are adjourned.